1 week ago, 16-year-old Joey Johnson was accused of shooting and killing his grandparents, who he lived with. Connie Stallworth, a sibling to victim and grandfather James Johnson, told Fox 26 it was a rocky and unhealthy relationship. Local officials are noticing an increasing trend of grandparents taking primary care of their grandchildren.
And so what I have seen a huge increase over the last 15 years is the number of grandparents who are seeking obtaining guardianship of their grandchildren.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 41% of grandparents living with grandchildren in Missouri are responsible for the well-being of the grandchild. 36% of those grandparents live without the grandchild's natural parents. Judge Kellogg says some reasons for absent parents are
incarceration or some sort of substance abuse issues have been the biggest factors that have seen the increase.
According to the Children's Advocacy Center, communication between grandparent and grandchild could suffer.
Well, there can be a gap, I think, especially with the older children. Younger children seem to do better with grandparents. As the children become older, that's when, the gap probably widens.
Child safety aside, this growing trend represents a different, more negative statistic.
It's not negative that these children at least are in a caring household. It's negative because if I am making a finding that a natural parent is unable, unwilling, or unfit, obviously that's a negative thing because that reflects poorly on our society and where we're headed on that.
Even though grandparents are offering a safe home for children, caring for their grandchildren can take its toll.
I had my grandson with me for several months and things, then I was raising him. It's not easy. Grandparents are ready to retire and sit down and rest and stuff.
Grandparents want to be grandparents. We all laugh about our grandparents spoiled us when we were little kids, but grandparents want to have that role. They want to have the role, and they can be the fun grandparents, and they can say, okay, you know what, you're hard to handle now, and you go back home to mom and dad. And when they're having to do this, they don't get to enjoy that role.
In the United States, 2.7 million grandparents have primary responsibility for grandchildren under the age of 18.